Tonight, survival story. One woman describes her close call as nothing short of a miracle. An Ontario family's desperate effort to treat their son's rare genetic condition, but some are shocked to learn at what cost. Plus, debating the possibilities of getting high-speed rail downtown, why some think that dream is unlikely to become a reality. Good evening. A Brockville woman is giving credit to a higher power while sharing her survival story tonight. She says she walked away uninjured from a crash scene that looked unsurvivable. It happened exactly 1 week ago on the 401 near Mallorytown, just hours after a snowstorm had blown through the region. CTV's Dylan Dyson has tonight's top story.
Brittany Savage says every time she gets behind the wheel of a car now, she feels blessed.
There were too many factors for that to come together the way it did to just call it luck.
That's because on January 26th, the morning after a snowstorm, Savage's car ended up inside the cab of this transport truck, and she walked away from the crash uninjured.
The best way I know how to explain it is snow plowing upward at monster heights towards me diagonally. After the snow died down, because it was still happening, or once he got onto the pavement is when I realized that it was a truck. I think I might have seen either the head of the truck or maybe the tail end spinning towards me.
As a realtor, she was driving to a home inspection in Mallorytown from Brockville when she saw the eastbound transport careening into her westbound lane on the 401. She only had one final thought.
I knew something was happening, slammed on my brakes, and all that I could think, all that was going through my head is, God save me, God help me. This is completely out of my control. Nothing I can do.
With her vision obstructed and a smell of smoke arising, Savage forced her way out of her vehicle, miraculously unharmed.
I looked to my left, I opened my door. There couldn't have been more than a foot of opening for me to get out. I saw that there was another transport coming up behind me, and I didn't know if he could slow down. I didn't know what that was going to bring, so I ran out of the car into the median to get away from traffic.
That area kind of has the lake effect where the conditions can worsen quite quickly. We can get whiteout conditions as well as very icy roads.
Savage says it was her faith in God that let her walk away that day.
God saved my life. It was God. He placed me in that transport, in the cab of the transport, perfectly.
Police say the driver of the transport truck was also somehow unharmed. No charges have been laid in this crash at this time, as police say the investigation into the incident is still ongoing. Dylan Dyson, CTV News, Brockville.
We have extended coverage of Brittany Savage's story and the snowstorm that hit this region. You can find that and more on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. There are flurries in the forecast, but no snowstorms expected this week. Here's Jackie Perez with our first check on the weather. Jackie.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the sunshine we saw today, because we are likely going to see some flurries moving through, really focusing on Kingston and Pembroke in the early hours. The greatest chance for flurries here in Ottawa will be in the early evening around the 5 o'clock hour, and this will push through. We could see between 1 to 2 centimeters of snow overall, and then Wednesday and Thursday we're in for some clear skies. Here's a closer look at temperatures. Still mild for this week. Coldest will be in the morning tomorrow, minus 15 degrees. Then we're going to warm up to about -5. And taking a look at the rest of this week, it looks like that we are in for a warming. There's a lot of warm air moving through from the west, moving into here, into Quebec and Ontario, but we are still going to be below zero. We'll have these details and much more in just a bit. Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Many Canadians are looking to get a break from the cold, and they've been flying out to sunny destinations. Porter Airlines is announcing new nonstop flights from Ottawa to Miami and Phoenix, but as you may have noticed, it comes at a time when fewer Canadians are looking to go to the U.S. Here's CTV's Josh Morano.
New Porter nonstop service to Miami and Phoenix out of Ottawa has Catherine Manji and David Mora rethinking travel plans.
We might consider going because flying direct is better, of course.
The airline says these new routes are focused on leisure travel for Canadians looking to escape the winter.
Miami Miami, it's always sunny, so you can actually go for a little vacation and coming back, it's closed.
The biggest thing that really comes of it is that people here no longer have to connect through Montreal, Toronto. So I think that those nonstop options have been really successful.
The new routes, however, come at a time where travel to the U.S. is down. According to Statistics Canada, in December 2025, transborder traffic to the U.S. dropped 12.5% from the previous year.
The Canadian traffic going into the United States is a little bit softer, but during cold winter months, that sunshine is ever alluring, and then businesses will be connecting, and so we hope that this is just a short-term blip.
Porter Airlines notes its passenger volume to the U.S. is down by 5%.
People are still enjoying the southwest of the United States. A lot of people in Canada own property down there. So essentially, we're giving people what they're looking for, and we're looking for those nonstop options out of a great partner in Ottawa.
Later this year, nonstop flights to Sudbury, Windsor, and Kelowna will originate from Ottawa instead of Toronto, signaling a shift in strategy as the airline looks to position Ottawa's airport as a growing hub for its network.
For Ottawa to be Porter Airlines' primary hub in their network is real, and it's actually happening. Flights coming inbound to Ottawa creates boundless opportunity in order to make us that connecting hub for not only traffic into Ottawa, but for points beyond and outbound as well.
For Manji and Mora, more nonstop flights, especially within Canada, is welcome news.
Having more options for direct flights is really good. We can visit more places in Canada that we were not considering before because it's now easier.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
Turning now to dramatic video capturing the moment an OC Transpo bus collided with a vehicle during this afternoon's rush hour. The crash happened around 4 p.m. on Fallowfield at Old Richmond Road. Dashcam footage shared with CTV News shows the bus slamming into the vehicle in the intersection. It's not clear if the driver was trying to turn or go straight through. OC Transpo says it is aware of the crash and that there were no reported injuries. There were no passengers on board the bus at the time. In the meantime, a school bus driver for Ottawa's French Catholic School Board has been fired after allegedly leaving dozens of students stranded in a parking lot. It happened ahead of the weekend on Friday afternoon. The driver is accused of abandoning the students on the bus at a depot on Coventry Road around 3 p.m. The head of the school bus authority says he has never seen anything like this in his career and that a replacement bus was sent to take the students home. Some parents came to pick up their kids and police were contacted. In a statement, the French Catholic School Board says it does not condone any behavior that could compromise the safety or well-being of students. The consortium says the driver has been relieved of his duties and will never drive a school bus again. The 40 students were from Samuel Jeunesse High School, which covers grades 7 to 12. 2 people are being treated for injuries after an assault in the city's East End. Paramedics say they were called to the scene for an assault with a weapon. Ottawa police say they responded to that call around 8:45 this morning in the 1400 block of Rainbow Crescent. That's off Bathgate Drive. Police say 2 suspects fled the scene, but officers found them nearby at around 10 a.m. A woman in her 30s and a man in his 60s were taken to hospital in stable condition. The investigation is ongoing. One of Ottawa's most iconic buildings is in the spotlight tonight as planning for a new high-speed rail line continues. But that building is right in the core of the capital, and many don't believe it to be feasible, even if it used to be a train station decades ago. CTV's Austin Lee explains.
Train tracks along the Rideau Canal leading to Union Station once offered visitors a direct route into the heart of the nation's capital. But it's been 60 years since this building served as a station for passenger trains. Now, there's talk about returning the building back to its roots.
We're only going to build a project like this once, and if there is a way to get it downtown so that people are disembarking from the trains right in the heart of downtown Ottawa, we have to explore that.
Alto, the Crown Corporation overseeing a high-speed rail project, is looking to build a faster rail corridor from Quebec City to Toronto. One of the hubs could be here. Originally known as Grand Trunk Central Station, the historic structure now serves as the Senate of Canada building.
It's a lovely building, and not only a lovely building, but the $190 million which was spent for the Senate has brought it up to modern standards. So once the Senate moves out, it'll be crying out for a new public role.
Some say using the 114-year-old building as a train station once again is possible, but to make it work, crews would likely have to tunnel under the Rideau Canal.
It could be done. It is feasible. Yes, it would cost a couple of $1 billion, I expect.
The plan is still in the early stages, but Ottawa's mayor is intrigued by the idea of a central downtown station.
It seems perfect. Obviously, there are a lot of details, and we have to think about the cost, and we also have to think about the speed of the trains.
Alto says it's considering several options, including the Via Rail station on Tremblay Road. Regardless of where Ottawa's high-speed rail hub could be located, travelers say the plan is exciting.
Love it. Want it. Let's do it. That sounds great. If that's actually an option, that would be wonderful. I don't know how long that would take.
That would be cool if it was affordable.
Austin Lee, CTV News.
A disorder with under 5,000 patients in the U.S. is not commercially viable. So companies will not take those programs on.
Coming up, costly treatment for a rare genetic condition. We'll have that Ontario family story in just a few minutes. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. Current temperature is -12, and it's time to check back in with Jackie for a closer look at the forecast.
Well, temperatures are going to be dropping, but not by much, considering that we had the last couple of weeks. -15, the overnight low, partly cloudy skies. We've got winds coming in from the south, which we will warm up to tomorrow, about a -5. That's our daytime high. The chance of flurries, again, the greatest chance for this will be in the early evening. So keep an eye out for this. Now, taking a look at tonight's lows across eastern Ontario, sitting between -16, -17 down by the Seaway, closer to -13, -14 degrees, and we are warming up again really for all of eastern Ontario around -4, -5 degrees. That's really good news, but again, keep an eye out for the flurries moving throughout the day, so we're anticipating between 1 to 2 centimeters in total. Now here's a look at our 7-day forecast. -4 the daytime high for Tuesday. We'll continue into our Wednesday -5. I'm liking the conditions of sun and cloud for our Wednesday and Thursday. It won't be until Friday that we could see some snow moving in through early forecast showing between 3 to 5 centimeters, but the daytime high is going to be a warm -3 before temperatures start to dip by the weekend, -15, -13 degrees. So prepare for winterlude, bundle up, and wear lots of layers.
An Ontario family from Vaughan says they are in a race against time to find a cure for their son's extremely rare condition. As CTV's Pauline Chan tells us, that cure could end up costing more than $1 million.
Whoa! How did you do that? He has an infectious laugh and is doing very well with his current routine of various therapies. But Lucas Azevedo's family fears the mutation in his RBM28 gene may rob the 2-year-old of his chance at a full and healthy life.
We've known about it since November of 2025. There is no official name for it or diagnosis for it.
It's kind of a rare mutation that he has.
Lucas's uncle, himself a neuroscientist, says so much about the boy's future is a mystery.
What it appears to do is be involved in the formation of the ribosome and the function of the ribosome. The ribosome is a cellular structure that converts genes into proteins.
Sophia says there is a boy in Mexico who appears to have the same mutation, but other than that, they don't know of any other cases. Their best hope is to develop a personalized gene therapy, and they've already found a clinic in the U.S. that's willing to do that. But the price tag is $1.7 million Canadian, and they need almost 300,000 Canadian just to begin the first stage. They've started a GoFundMe page and consulted with Terry Pirivolakis, who also fundraised to get his son, Michael, a gene therapy for his ultra-rare disease known as SPG50. They raised $4.5 million, and he says it's a very tough thing for families to face.
A disorder with under 5,000 patients in the U.S. is not commercially viable. So companies will not take those programs on, just like Michael's disorder. So the only way to move the needle and to save your child is to unfortunately do a clinical trial and raise millions of dollars.
We don't know exactly how it will affect his future. We only know because there's so little known about this variant that it's progressive. That's all we know so far.
Sophia says their cost is less for the gene therapy, but even with it, the future is unclear. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Certainly wishing them the best. Coming up, ushering in 1 month with 2 major purposes. February's Heart Month and also one to recognize Black history.
It's amazing the experience I've been able to have here.
On the other side of the break, we highlight a Black-owned business in Stittsville.
Stood up at the line, countering back. Here's a chance for Batherson. Burst of speed, stops, rebound, scores!
Sens on a roll, breaking the Pittsburgh Penguins' 6-game winning streak. Goalie Linus Ullmark back from his leave of absence and stopping pucks left, right, and center. The final score, 3-2 for the Sens. They stay on the road for tomorrow's game against the Carolina Hurricanes. Puck drop is at 7 p.m. February is Black History Month, and today we take you to Stittsville, where one cafe owner says she is working to create an open space for customers to find their own special ritual inside. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has that story.
The afternoon coffee rush is something Chinelo Uron lives for.
My success is when I leave here, I'm exhausted, my back is broken. I'm like, let's do it again tomorrow.
That search for a rush is why she opened Ritual on Main 4 years ago. A bustling coffee shop even into midday on Stittsville Main Street. It sells specialty coffees, baked goods, and cocktails.
I love what it brings to Stittsville. It's a little bit of the old and the new.
Huron left a previous career in corporate marketing behind to open her own coffee shop 8 years ago.
I'm very fortunate to work with amazing people, with my friends, and I'm just very fortunate to have a business that people want to support.
But she says it hasn't always been easy. This is her 3rd location, the pandemic forcing the closure of one, and the other partly due to some of the barriers and challenges she says she's experienced as a woman of color.
Acceptance is definitely one, especially I found this was a bit more prevalent at as my first coffee shop. So that was my sort of entry into the small business world and entrepreneurship. And, just being a woman of color at the time, a much younger woman of color.
Finding a community here, she works to support and mentor other women of color.
It's been amazing. Over the years, I've had people ask to sit down and say, give me tidbits. I want to open my own coffee shop. Like, what do you, and I'm happy to do it. I'm so happy to sit down because I wish somebody had done that for me.
Regulars at Ritual say they keep coming back because Huron brings something special to the community.
Feels a little bit like the coffee place from Friends. A lot of people that I've said, come and check it out, I've loved it and come now as well.
I guess that's why I chose the name Ritual, is because it doesn't matter whether you're a coffee or a tea drinker or you just want to hold space with other people and sit down and people watch. There's a certain ritual that everybody has every day.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
Well, this month may be short, but it comes with a tall order. It's also Heart Month, a time to raise awareness about heart disease, the 2nd leading cause of death in Canada. CTV's Peter Sperling has more.
For Jonathan Pivnik, hockey is more than a game.
It's always great. I'm 70. I'm happy to be out there. It's part of my social hour.
And it was at a rink nearly a year ago where he was screened for heart health at a mobile clinic as part of an Ottawa Heart Institute initiative.
And they checked my valves and everything was working great. And then they said, but you have an aortic aneurysm and it's quite large and it's going to need a surgical solution.
A ticking time bomb. Months later, open heart surgery at the University of Ottawa Heart Institute.
Without them checking it, finding it, I could have been one of those statistics shoveling snow, lying on the driveway.
His story, just one of many being highlighted and celebrated during February Heart Month.
Heart Month is an important focal point for us because it's really emphasizing the importance of your heart health and taking care of yourself and the cardiac care that we provide.
Looking straight ahead.
Heart Month 2026 features a variety of heart health awareness events for the community, healthcare professionals, and families.
A big focal point for our foundation to raise further awareness within the community of all that we do.
It's also a time to come together to raise funds and awareness of the Institute.
It is $1 million+ month in fundraising. We have over 100 community events. The Light the Capital Red initiative is massive in seeing hundreds of buildings lit up red. We have paper hearts that are being distributed in so many different businesses where they're literally their windows are plastered with paper hearts and people making donations in memory of.
Last year, the campaign generated $1.4 million, made possible through sponsors, donors, and community initiatives.
We cannot do what we do without the help and support of the community.
So that patients like Pivnik receive the care they need.
I've got so much great stuff going on in my life. I've got a wonderful wife, 3 children and their spouses, and 5 grandchildren, and I want to be around for them. I really do.
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Canada has about 25% of the remaining wetlands, and so we have an obligation to care for those that remain.
Coming up, making a big donation to save a section of wetlands. More details when we return. Today is World Wetlands Day, recognizing the important role these ecosystems play in protecting wildlife and fighting climate change. CTV's Dave Charbonneau explains how one local conservation group is sparing no expense doing its part near North Gore.
For Fred Wakosh, this land in rural Ottawa holds more than trees and water. It's a place he believes deserves protection.
It's important that they conserve this 91 hectares.
The land is part of the Marlborough Wetland System southwest of Ottawa.
And there's a lot of wildlife in here, including on the big pond there's a lot of ducks that live there during the season.
It's now owned by the Nature Conservancy of Canada after it was donated to the group by a local family who wanted to know it would be conserved.
Canada has about 25% of the remaining wetlands, and so we have an obligation to care for those that remain and restore them.
And wetlands aren't just key because of their value to nature. They also help with flood resiliency at a time when the risk appears to be on the rise.
Wetlands really act as a sponge. They filter the water, providing downstream water clarity, as well as holding the water back. So in times of high water, wetlands help to mitigate flooding impacts downstream. And also in times of low water or drought, they release it slowly, making more water available for people and for nature.
The area is also a place where people come to enjoy the outdoors.
We're out here to go snowshoeing.
Like sisters Sandra and Linda Weedmark, who visit the Marlborough Forest regularly.
Yeah, we come out here because there's lots of room. There's nobody. You're out in the middle of nowhere.
They say protecting places like this is important as the region grows to ensure a healthier habitat for generations to come.
I think that's great. I think they need to protect our green spaces and our wetlands and stuff. So, you can't build houses on everything.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
Heads up families, Ottawa Public Health is sending out suspension notices this week to students with out-of-date vaccinations. Around 15,000 first notices were sent out in December to students born in 2008 and 2018, informing families that their child's vaccine record was incomplete. Those who haven't updated their records will now be getting a suspension notice, which will be rescinded when a record of immunization or medical exemption is provided. 2, 1. When we return, it may be Groundhog Day, and you may be used to seeing Wyerton Willie or Punxsutawney Phil in the spotlight. But what do you know about Lucy the Lobster? We'll explain in just a few minutes. Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass sky cam. It is -12 out there right now, and watch out for the wind chill. Now for a final check on weather, here's Jackie.
Well, it'll be a chilly start to our Tuesday, -15 degrees. But again, that will be the coldest part of our day. We are warming up to temperatures sitting around -4. That's the good news. But keep an eye on the roads because around the evening hour, it's going to be flurries moving through 1 to 2 centimeters at most. And then we're in the clear for Wednesday and Thursday with daytime highs between -5 and -8 degrees. So, Stefan.
Thank you, Jackie. Finally for us tonight, it is Groundhog Day. And while we have opposite predictions depending on which groundhog you're paying attention to, here's what this crustacean is suggesting.
And it is official. Lucy does not see her shadow.
Meet Lucy the Lobster. She predicted an early start to spring as she launched the Nova Scotia Lobster Crawl. Lucy clawed her way into Groundhog Day festivities back in 2018, adding an Atlantic Canada twist to this tradition. Very cool. That is CTV News for this Monday, February 2nd. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app, and for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night. Stay warm and stay safe.